You are going to get this war to the end, is that all right?
Yes.
Now, make sure that each time you are moving, that you are moving in the right direction. Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Welcome, my wonderful viewers. I appreciate you wherever you are joining me from across the globe. If you are joining me from Africa, Asia, Europe, or America, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much. If you have not subscribed, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much, and remember, today I come to you on a different form. Today is a very special day in the life of everybody from this old southeastern region, the Biafra Land. If you are a Biafran and you don't know what today is all about, that means you have forgotten yourself and you are not true son of your father. Everybody who is a true Biafran today know that today is a special day. 30th May is a very special day in our hearts. A day that will remember our heroes, our fallen heroes. This is a special day. On this very day, 30th May, Biafra was declared. This is a history that we will never forget. That was the beginning of the trouble, where we lost over 5 million people. If you begin to read some information and people begin to tell you it's about 3 million people, we lost over 5 million and still losing to date. That is the story of Biafra. Biafra have been existing. It is a country that is existing. It's not a country that was. It's a country that has existed, still existed, and still in our heart, and will exist until the end of the world. That is what Biafra is. Don't tell me there was a time there was Biafra. There is Biafra, there has been Biafra, and there will still be Biafra continuously. It's not ending. It's not ending. For those who doesn't know what we are celebrating our heroes, those who fought for us to be alive today. So many of them lost their life in the war because of us. More especially children. We are starved to death in the Civil War, in a massacre which they call the Civil War, the Biafran Civil War. It's unfortunate that the world never remembered this very issue. Nigeria never commemorated it and never remembered this. They never apologized for taking the life of innocent children. They never apologized, and they want us to forget it. They just want us to say goodbye to it. It is not possible. You cannot tell our story. We are the one that will tell you our story and what happened. And we cannot forget. We cannot forget. Biafra fought a war. We fought a war for good 3 years. For good 3 years, from 1967 to 1970. Biafra was fighting for survival. Biafra was fighting for survival to keep their state. We lost a lot of people. It was a genocide which the world had denied, never remembered. Nobody has been prosecuted for that. Instead, people who were responsible for that genocide are still moving around. Some of them claiming to be born-again Christians. Some of them having one international commitment or the other. The world closed their eyes towards it. Nobody talks about it. The very country that committed this genocide is still in occupation of Biafra today. As I speak with you, they are still taking the life of people in Biafra land. And you think we will forget. You want us to just say goodbye and that is it. It is not possible. We will never forget 30th May. We will never forget. It's a hero's day. Everybody that have lost his or her life because of Biafra will always be remembered. We continue to remember them. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter the way you look at it. We will continue to remember them and we will continue to talk about them. We'll continue to talk about them. It is not a date that we can forget. 30th May, the day Biafra was declared. The day Biafra was declared. People are trying by all means, more especially the Nigerian government, they are trying by all means to suppress Biafra, to make sure that Biafrans are not remembered, to make sure that our heroes are not remembered, to make sure that the name Biafra is wiped away from the surface of the earth, just as the Israelites are suffering. Just as Israel is suffering today, some people are planning to take away Israel from the map of the world. That is what they are doing. The Nigerian government is doing to Biafra. They are doing it by every means possible to make sure that Biafrans has no say. Mind you, Biafra has been existing before Nigeria. Biafra has existed before Nigeria, will continue to exist and still existing. It's a place you will never forget. I would like to share with you a video that one senator, Senator Ben Bruce, when he was with the Senate, made an argument in the Senate asking the Nigerian government, why did they wipe away the bite of Biafra in the map? Why did they take away the bite of Biafra in the map? It was all a ploy to make sure that the Biafran history is forgotten, that the Biafran story is forgotten. But we can never forget. You cannot tell our story. We will tell our story to our children and our children's children. We can never forget. It is our responsibility to forgive or forget if we decide to, but we will not forgive, neither will we forget. We will not forgive because nobody has repented of that very crime and nobody has been held accountable for that. We will not forgive and we will not forget. Never, ever. Watch the argument that a lawmaker made in the House of Senate, Ben Bruce. Let us watch.
I want to thank you all for bringing this very, very important debate on the floor of the National Assembly. But I take a different perspective to what has happened here. You have to go back in history to understand why there was a civil war in the first place, and 50 years later, why the same people are agitating for independence. In '66, we had the first coup, where it was alleged that the Igbos wiped out northern leaders in the military. Second coup, Gawan took over, and there was a lot of bloodshed, killing the Igbos. Igbos were killed in the north. They moved back to eastern Nigeria. Ojukwu became head of state, declared a nation called Biafra. The war started. We fought for 3 years. The war was over, and southeastern Nigeria and eastern Nigeria, as it was called, was integrated into Nigeria. That is the background. Now, when the war was over, I asked the Vice President of Nigeria a fundamental question. There are two questions asked. One, why did you erase the bite of Biafra from the map of Nigeria? And he said that at the Supreme Military Council meeting, they felt Biafra would rise again. And so the federal government at the time did everything possible not to talk about the war in Nigeria. So, from 1970 to the present, a generation of Nigerians who were born did not know we had a civil war. And I know a lot of young people who do not know Nigeria fought the war. This policy of being an ostrich and not addressing issues is counterproductive. If you lived in America, you know you had the Vietnam War, which happened at the same time as the Nigerian Civil War. You had the Korean War, you had the First World War, you had the Second World War. You have all kinds of wars. And they talk about it all the time. If you watch the Discovery Channel, you can see all the wars in the world. And the reason they televise these wars is so that you can learn from the mistakes of others, so that you do not become a fool and make the same mistakes and fight again. And so here we are 50 years later, talking about something that could have been avoided if the federal government at the time understood the value of history. So one, we erased the Civil War from our consciousness. So a generation of people do not know we fought the war or why we fought the war. They say the Igbos were marginalized, right? They fought the war, they lost. Today, they are the most industrious people in the country today. They are the richest Nigerians in the country today. One of the most educated people in Nigeria today. Yet, they feel marginalized. If you compare the Igbo man to the other sections of the society, you would say the Igbos are very privileged because of what they have. Yet, a generation of Igbos say they are marginalized.
You can see for yourself that Nigerian government is trying by all means to make sure that Biafra is not remembered and is wiped away. A war that was fought, a war that the government brought upon Biafrans, the Nigerian government brought upon Biafra. Sometimes we forget the history. I do not want to bother you with the history because if I begin to bother you with the history, this video cannot be able to contain it. You'll be tired of watching. But I'm going to touch some important issues on this very Biafra that we are talking about. Biafra have existed before even the amalgamation of the so-called Nigeria, which the Biafrans tried to manage and see if it would work, but it didn't work. A coup was held in 1966, which they called Biafran coup. Though it wasn't a coup, it was a revolution. A revolution that was masterminded by the Zogu, Nzogu is from Delta State, Igbo in Delta State. He masterminded the very revolution, and that revolution was being carried out. At the end of the day, some prominent people lost their life. Then, eventually, the people that lost their life were from a particular region. They felt that it was intentional, that it was just to put the Igbos in power. That was what the other military officers thought. Because some important personalities were killed, it didn't affect the southeastern regions for one reason or the other. People who were there couldn't be able to carry the operation. Then the revolution was being toppled even by the Igbos. But the rest officers from the north, with the kind of mindset they have, felt that it wasn't a revolution to make the country good, that it was a revolution to make the Biafrans in control. What did they do? They came together, organized themselves, and carried out what they called a counter coup. In that counter coup, a lot of military officers who were Igbos were massacred. But it didn't end there. It didn't just end there in killing those Igbo officers who were there, including the president who was there, Aguironsi. They killed Aguironsi, killed all the Igbo military officers there. It didn't end there. They went to the streets, killing innocent people. They killed innocent Igbos on the street. It didn't end there. They went to the airport, a plane that arrived from the UK to the international airport. They went there and began to massacre people who do not know anything about what is going on in Nigeria, simply because they are from the southeastern region of Nigeria. They were killed. A lot of people lost their life. Igbos lost their life. If their intention was to take vengeance for the 1966 coup, which they called the Igbo coup, though it wasn't, it was a revolution, but they termed it Igbo coup. If that their intention was to take vengeance, why wouldn't you be satisfied after taking the life of the officers who is involved? After taking the life of so many Igbo military officers, why are you not yet satisfied? Why did you have to extend the massacre to the civilians? Civilians working in various offices, innocent children, women. Why did you have to take it to that extent? That tells a lot of story. That shows you that the intention alone wasn't about the vengeance of the coup, what they call a coup, but it was a revolution. Their intention was to wipe away the Igbos because of their greed, because of their jealousy, because of their hatred against the Igbos. Their hatred is not hidden. It's not hidden. You can see one of the person they call their founding father, Ahmad Bello, or what. You can see Ahmad Bello in one of the videos what he was saying about the Igbos, what they felt about the Igbos. Watch the video, then we can come back and talk.
Talks about killing your premier. Add on top of that the North's general hate of the East, and you can start to get the picture of the sort of tribal tension Nigeria was heading towards.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it, obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions, coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, I mean, new to our region, but how many northerners are employed in the east or in the west? The answer is no. And if there may be 10 laborers employed only.
After watching the video of Mohammadu Buhari, you can see that these people just hate Igbos for nothing. That Igbos are domineering. How are Igbos dominating you? How are Igbos dominating? Because when you put them in a difficult place, they will strive to survive and become effective. They are not lazy. It doesn't matter how difficult the environment is, put an Igbo man there, he will find a way out. That is the annoyance of the North. That is the annoyance of the Fulanis. That's the annoyance of the Fulani cabals. That Igbos are domineering. Igbos are hardworking. He used the word domineering, but there is no way Igbos is dominating anybody. If we talk of education, they go to school and study as hard as they can to make sure they pass their exams. Likewise, our brothers in the Southwest, they struggle so hard to go to their exams and the schools and pass their schools, pass the exams, read hard, and be able to make good for themselves. But in the North, what do you get? Instead of struggling hard to read and get a good education in the North, what they have to do is to bring their standard low, to admit their students with any possible cut-off mark they have. Even if they pass or they don't pass, they don't care. All they want is to have somebody to represent them in the schools. And with those kind of mentality, now you are now expecting people to put them in a post or in a strong position where they can be controlling things. Whatever position an Igbo man or somebody from the Southwest is holding, they earn it. They earn it by their sheer hard work. It was by their hard work. Any position that anybody from the South, more especially the Igbos and the Yorubas, any position they hold, that position is earned by their sheer hard work. It is not by dominating. They don't dominate anybody. They work hard to earn everything they have. But out of jealousy, after killing the military men they said involved in the coup, because of whatever, they went and began to kill the masses, kill the civilians. A lot of Igbos lost their life. There was no way out. Nobody was helping. What do they do? No other solution than to come back home. And Ojukwu asked them to come back home for their safety. I will give you a brief video to explain to you more what transpired.
In the 3 months following the coup, an estimated 8,000 to 30,000 Southeasterners living in the north would be attacked, killed, and robbed by local mobs. Fearing for their lives, over 1 million Southeasterners fled back to their homelands, leaving behind businesses, homes, churches, and in some unfortunate cases, children that had been the fruit of inter-ethnic marriages. With the deluge of refugees flooding back into the eastern region with shocking stories of betrayal and trauma, the Nigerian project was on the brink of collapse. As many Easterners no longer felt safe in other parts of Nigeria, the military governor of the eastern region, Colonel Ojukwu, began to call for Igbos from all around Nigeria to return home. Rumors about the eastern region's impending breakaway from Nigeria became front-page news after it was reported that a plane carrying imported weapons had crashed in the eastern city of Enugu. Knowingly or unknowingly, Colonel Ojukwu essentially confirmed all rumors with a series of rousing criticisms of the Gowon administration's failure to provide adequate protection to the thousands of Igbos who were being attacked and killed by people they imagined were their fellow citizens.
You see, that was what transpired. So Ojukwu called for the Igbos to come back home. Come back home for their safety, because if you continue to remain in the north, they are going to wipe you out. If you continue to remain in Nigeria, they're going to wipe you out. So Ojukwu built a safe haven for all the people from the whole southeastern region, the Biafra Land. Ojukwu declared Biafra. Biafra was not declared out of envy. It was not declared because of oil. It wasn't declared because of jealousy. It wasn't declared because of domination. Biafra was declared to save life. It was declared for the purpose of saving lives. That was why Biafra was born. It was a child of necessity. The Biafra country was a child of necessity. Because Ojukwu saw that he cannot be watching and allow his brothers to be dying. He declared Biafra, and people came back home to have safety. Listen from Ojukwu what he has to say.
These are the crossroads. Since our last meeting, everything possible has been done by the enemies of the East to escalate the crisis in an attempt to bring about the collapse of this region. They have failed and will continue to fail. In 1953, the late Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, in a speech in the Legislative Council, said, since the amalgamation of the southern and northern provinces in 1914, Nigeria has existed as one country only on paper. It is still far from being united. The country is inhabited by peoples and tribes who speak different languages, who have different religions, different customs and traditions, and entirely different historical backgrounds in their way of life, and who have also attained different stages of development. We do not want our southern neighbors to interfere in our development, but I should like to make it clear to you that if the British quitted Nigeria now at this stage, the northern people would continue their interrupted conquest to the sea. Interrupted conquest. That has always been the northern intention. Thank God that the East has now awakened to its responsibilities. And with that awakening, that ambitious dream will never be fulfilled in this country.
Sometimes when you are watching what is going on today, it is the same old story. More than 50-something years ago, the same thing that made Ojukwu to call people back home and declare Biafra is still happening to date. The same language. You can hear what Ojukwu has said in that very video. The only mission that the Hausa Fulanis have from the beginning, the Fulanis have from the beginning, the only purpose, the only agenda they have is to dominate people, to be able to take their land, dominate them, and funalize Nigeria. It didn't start today. When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is crying and using that language, fulanization of Nigeria, grabbing of land, dipping their Quran into the deep sea. When you see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu using those language and shouting about them, you think it's a joke. He started it and everybody's talking about it. It didn't start today. It didn't start. You can see Ojukwu mentioned the same thing when he was making his speech. Ojukwu made mention of the same issue when he was making his speech. It is about the land grabbing. It is about dominating others. It is about occupying Nigeria as their own. That is the only agenda the Fulanis have had since independence till date. There has never been any other agenda for the Fulanis. That is why when I see some people who are from the southeastern region, people who are from the more especially southeastern region, still support one Nigeria, I wonder where they are coming from. No wonder Mazi Nnamdi Kanu used to say that some of them were impregnated by the Janjaweed during the Civil War. That is the only reason why someone will wake up and begin to support one Nigeria. Everybody from the southern part of Nigeria has to wake up. Has to wake up. Hearing what Ojukwu have said 50-something years ago, this same agenda was complaining about. This agenda that is playing out before your very eyes. The agenda to kill people, take their life and take their properties. That is the only agenda Fulanis have had from the beginning up to date. And they never change it. And they never shy about it. It only manifested openly during the time of Mohammadu Buhari. General Mohammadu Buhari have decided to play the card openly. They can't hide it any longer. They have no time. They are running fast to go and dip their so-called Quran into the Atlantic Ocean. How will they do that? By running over all the ethnic nations in Nigeria. Taking out every ethnic nation in Nigeria and grab their land. And you think it's a joke. It is not a joke. For those of us who are asking what success have been made, what success Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has made, if you want to know the success Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has made since he has been shouting, look at Benue State. As we speak now, in as much as the Biafra land is losing people every day, you cannot compare it to what Benue is losing today. They are not only losing people, they are losing their land. A lot of them is in IDP camp. In Southeast, you cannot find anybody in IDP camp. We are still in our various homes, have our land intact. No inch of our land have gone. All thanks to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and ESN. But today, you still see some people come out to criticize Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is on the right track. They are watching history repeating itself. They are watching everything that Ojukwu have cried about many years ago is still happening before your very eyes. Yet, you fail to wake up. Instead of some of the southeastern people waking up, you see our Ududua brothers standing tall and fighting harder than ever, because they don't want what happened to Biafrans to happen to them. They don't want what happened to the Middle Belters to happen to them. They are waking up and doing the needful as early as possible. But in Biafra land, the case is different. Some of them are still rallying around. Some of them are still thinking it is a joke. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stood up to the occasion. The Biafran war was fought heavily. The Biafrans war was fought heavily. I see no reason why a matured man in this present time cannot know why people are asking for Biafra. A matured man who called himself from the southeastern part of Nigeria, eastern region of Nigeria, at this present time will begin to ask, why are you asking of Biafra? Why are you talking about this Biafra every time? Why are you still asking of Biafra? Why not remain in one Nigeria and build one nation? Some people do not still understand. But I want to play to you a video of a child of 10 years old. 50-something years ago, a child of 10 years old could be able to know why he should fight for Biafra. And you, an old person, an old guy like you are still asking me, why are you fighting for Biafra? Why are you talking about Biafra every time? If a child of 10 years, 50-something years ago should know why to fight for his freedom or fight for Biafra, why wouldn't I know how to fight for my freedom now? Watch the video for yourself and say things.
Young trooper, a very young trooper in the Biafran army.
How old are you?
I'm 10 years.
10 years old. Do you know why Biafra is fighting?
Biafra is fighting for survival.
Is it going to win?
Yes, sir.
The Biafra struggle is not ending until we get Biafra, and Biafra must come. It doesn't matter what anybody say, it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter how they plan and continue to suppress us, we will surely rise. You cannot stop an ideology. Biafra is our religion, it's in our heart, it's in our mind, it's in our blood. There is no way you can stop it. It doesn't matter what you try, how you try. Our eternal leader, our eternal leader, General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, fought the battle to the end. He fought the battle and did everything possible he could do to keep us safe. He wasn't a coward. He never ran away because he couldn't fight. He was considering his people to make sure that we survive. Then he left the scene. He never gave up. He was still fighting. He was still looking forward for a better day to come. Even until when he planned to come back to Nigeria, he still had the intention on seeing if things can be able to work out. He tried as much as possible to see if things can be able to work out in Nigeria, but it never worked. Just like he did before, during the time of Aburi, before the Civil War. He tried everything possible to bring peace, to make sure that the war didn't happen. He took Gowon to Aburi to make a discussion. They went to Aburi in Ghana to discuss on what to do. So many people said that Gowon wasn't prepared, that Ojukwu took him unaware. How can you be going for such a peace talk between two nations who are going in loggerheads? You are a president going for a peace talk and you are telling me you are not prepared. This is the excuse many people are giving, that he wasn't prepared for the Aburi. That was why he gave in. You are not prepared. That means you are not qualified to be a leader in the first place. That is what it tells. If Gowon wasn't prepared when he went to Aburi, it simply means that he wasn't qualified enough to be the president of Nigeria then, or to stand with Ojukwu to debate in anything. He wasn't qualified. That is what it means. Ojukwu went to Aburi after the discussion. Gowon came back and changed the whole thing into a story. Gowon and his cohorts denied everything. They turned everything upside down and forgot about the Aburi. They gave Ojukwu no other option than to safeguard his region, to save his brothers, because the killing will continue, just as it has continued today. Let's watch the Aburi. You can see them. When they talk about these issues, people think it is story. It is not a mere story. These are things that happen. They were reality, fact, things that happen. Fact, things that happen before your very eyes. Ojukwu tried everything possible in Aburi to make sure that the war didn't take place. We have a peaceful resolution. But Nigerian government turned everything down. Today, that same problem is what we are facing. Now they are still calling for restructuring. Restructuring that Ojukwu asked for 50-something years ago. That is what they are asking for today again. But the Biafrans, we are not ready anymore. Thank God we have someone else who is leading us now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and is leading well. And the only destination we know is Biafra. Is Biafra or death. Once and for all, the solution has to come. We got to solve it. There is no going back this time. Ojukwu tried his best. Even when he was coming back, he came back with high hope. Watch the speech he made before he came back to Nigeria.
I am seeking my return to Nigeria. I am seeking it through a constitution established by the military regime. I am seeking it through a national party in Nigeria, a party that transcends ethnic considerations. I am in fact a partner of other parts of Nigeria. The leader of the party for which I am standing is a northerner. There are many Westerners, there are Easterners in that party. I am in fact seeking a return legally and constitutionally into Nigeria, into a new Nigeria that I think I can serve.
But nonetheless, the very fact that Ojukwu comes back must mean a reopening of the old wounds. It must be a symbol of the war that took place.
No, actually, I don't think it is. I don't think in any way it is. First, the war. The war was not Ojukwu's war. I happened on the Igbo situation at the time of the conflict. I did my duty to the best of my ability. And I am glad that Nigerians generally recognize this fact. One man could not have held the entire Nigeria and her allies for 3 years. The Igbo people felt threatened.
Why don't you go back to Nigeria now and fight the election in person?
I would very much like to. I would very much like to. But I have already mentioned the obstacles that are being put in the way of a candidate to be a member of parliament. I'm not seeking political office. I'm not seeking government office. Just to represent my people 10 years after the end of the war. Obstacles are being put. Even people who just signed my papers are being imprisoned. It would be foolhardy for me at this stage to step into Nigeria. But I will go back. Once I become a member of parliament, once I can take my seat in parliament, I will go back. And I'll take my chance with my parliamentary immunity.
Are you seriously saying that all you want to be is an MP? Don't you want to be president?
Once I have decided to go into politics, then I want to serve the nation in the highest capacity and within my ability. If, as a politician, it comes my way that the party of which I am a member designates me as a presidential candidate, I would be extremely proud. And I would certainly contest.
You can see, he has every good intention to see if there can be unity, if something can work out, but yet nothing worked out. Even his presence when he came back, things became worse. Till date, as I'm speaking to you, we are still dying in numbers. All in the name of keeping one Nigeria. In the name of keeping one Nigeria, the Igbos mainly, people from the southeastern region are sacrificing their life daily to keep one Nigeria. For 50-something years, they have been dying They've been killing them. Even before them, the hatred is unimaginable. And someone will still wake up and ask me, why am I talking about Biafra? We are not the same. It can never work. Ahmadu Bello said it. It can never work. Tafawa Balewa said it. That we have nothing in common. You can hear Tafawa Balewa said it between man that we have nothing in common. There's no way we can be together. Their own mission is just to make sure they dominate everybody, take everybody out and dig their Quran into the Atlantic Ocean. But people from the south are still blind. They seem to forget that very statement. While the Fulanis are working towards that statement every now and again, every day, on daily basis, they are working towards that very agenda. Non-stop. It is high time we ask the right question. Today is a special day of reflection. A day of reflection. If you are from the southeastern region, more especially the Igbos, today is a day of reflection. If you are one of those who have been criticizing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who have been talking trash, talking down on the Biafra agitators, it is time for you to stop. It is time for you to stop. It is not a joke. We lost millions of people, and it is not a joke. Do not joke with our life. Don't joke with our heroes. Don't joke with our born children. This is not time for joke. It is time to be serious about the situation. And we are not going back. It is Biafra or death. Take it or leave it. Today we remember our heroes. Wherever they are, may Almighty God receive their souls. We will never forget. We will never forget them until Biafra comes, and we will continue to celebrate them. Thank you so much for watching, wherever you are watching from. Pray for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, wherever he is, that Almighty God will continue to prosper him, continue to guide and protect him, and give him word to give to us. Continue to guide and give him knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to continue to lead us to that path of truth and that path of salvation. Thank you for watching, and remember this. Bye-bye. See you again on the next video.